Sometimes you feel unstoppable, and other times you forget why you walked into a room. And let's be honest, sometimes those two things happen within minutes of each other. You are not crazy. You're just in a massive life shift, and that's what we're diving into today. Hey, friend, welcome to the very first episode of the Thrive with Intention show. I am so glad that you're here. So picture this. We are sitting on the deck of my beautiful dream mountain home. Now, I don't actually have this home yet, but we're manifesting right here in real time. We've got our coffees in hand, or maybe it's a glass of wine or a cocktail. We've got beautiful views of the mountains in front of us, and we're having a real conversation about what midlife actually feels like, because that's what this show is. Real talk about the things women our age are actually navigating, the identity shifts, the hormones, the purpose questions, and the weird mix of grief and excitement that comes with this stage of life. No fluff, no filters, just honest conversations that help you rise into your next chapter with confidence and clarity and a little humor. Now, I'm guessing you have probably built a really good life. You've checked a lot of boxes: family, career, home, and you might be looking up right now thinking, wait, now what? Your kids are probably teens, they're heading off to college soon, or maybe they've already left the nest. Your body and your hormones are changing in ways that you were never prepared for, and you're craving something more purpose, more confidence, more joy, or maybe just more freedom and space. Whatever it is, this show is for you. I will never forget the day after my son got his driver's license and he drove off to school by himself for the very first time. I stood in the driveway. I took his picture. I watched him drive down the road and disappear. And then I walked back into my house and I just kind of sat there. And in that moment, it really hit me. My life is changing in a really big way. This was not just a milestone for him. It was a milestone for me too. And suddenly, for the first time in, a decade and a half, my schedule and honestly, a big part of my purpose was not wrapped around someone else and their timeline and all the things they had going on. And y'all, it felt weird, but it also felt exciting. It was like, oh, wow, okay. What do I do with all this extra time now? It was really disorienting, and that was really when I started to feel that midlife shift for me. And I finally had time to start thinking about myself and what I wanted for my next chapter of life. And I began to realize that I was really craving more, not more in a hustle way. I am way past all that, but more in a meaningful way. I wanted community and growth and purpose in a new way. But I had no idea what that was going to look like. So one night around the same time, I was scrolling Pinterest, soul searching as one does, and I saw this quote. It said, "Sometimes you have to create the thing you want to be a part of." And I really felt that in my bones. I knew that I wanted to surround myself with other women who were experiencing the same life changes that I was experiencing, but were also wanting to grow and expand in ways that we hadn't been able to do for a long time. And I realized that I was kind of waiting around for someone else to build it when maybe I was supposed to build it myself. So that quote and that moment was really the spark that started Thrive with Intention. It made me ask, what do I wish existed for women like me, and how can I help create that? How can I create a community of women that are going through the same stuff that I'm going through? So fast forward a bit, I decided to become a life coach for midlife women, and I really leaned into coaching. And, even after decades of professional experience and entrepreneurship and tons of personal growth and self-development, self-doubt really started to show up for me. The imposter syndrome, the "who are you to do this" voice, which seemed a little crazy. Like, I thought by the time I got to this point in my life, all that mindset crap would be gone, right? I would have gotten over all of that. Well, I hadn't. But then I actually started coaching women. And the first time I watched a woman in front of me have one of those aha moments, it was magical. And then after working with one client for a while, I received a text from her, and the first words on the text were, "This shit works." And I was like, okay, this is it. This confirmed it, that this is what I was meant to do. Because midlife does not need more crisis stories. We need real talk and honest conversations about the good and the bad of this phase of life. We need to know that we are not alone. And we need the tools to be able to rediscover, reinvent, and rise intentionally. Our relationships really change in midlife. Some of your mom friends that you had because your kids were in the same class or they did similar sports or something, those relationships oftentimes can fade unless you make a point to maintain them. Relationships with your husband or significant other change. Suddenly, you have way more time than you ever had before to actually look at each other and just really get to know each other in a whole new way. And that can be so beautiful. And for some couples, it can also be really difficult. I am very lucky. I have been married for over 27 years, and I really think that we have done a good job of staying connected throughout our marriage and our child raising years. But it's still a little weird when you start going out to eat dinner, just the two of you again, or you take a trip, just the two of you again. It's like, oh, it's just us again. How strange. And it's a little bit like you're dating again because you've both evolved over those years, right? And our relationships with our kids are changing drastically. We are transitioning from primary caregiver and manager, micromanager in some cases, to more of a guide. And honestly, that can be really sad and a little depressing, and also really beautiful and exciting and fun. And as if all those changes aren't enough, let's just throw in some perimenopause on top of it all. You may have heard the term cougar puberty thrown around lately. And honestly, I'm not sure if I like that term or not, but it definitely does feel like a weird form of puberty, doesn't it? Our bodies are changing, our moods are swinging. And let's be honest, we kind of feel like we're falling apart and losing our damn minds all at the same time. So I have my estrogen gel packets right next to my coffee maker in my kitchen because I've read the book Atomic Habits and I'm habit stacking, darn it. And the other day, my husband's making coffee and he's like, this doesn't really go here. And I was like, look here, man, that is the only way that I remember to use it. And you do not want me forgetting that. So it stays. And honestly, I think those conversations are so important for us to have, not only with each other, but with our husbands, with our sons. There has been way too little information out there about perimenopause and all the changes that come with it. So here's what I have learned through all of this, through the parenting, the coaching, the hormones, the identity shifts, and just the living. Midlife isn't a crisis, but it is a clarifier. It has a way of stripping away what doesn't matter and highlighting what does. And it gives you permission to stop living for everyone else and start living for your own alignment. So this week, I want you to sit with one question. What do I actually want in this next chapter? Not what you should want, not what anyone else expects of you, but what do you want? And if you don't know what you want yet, that is okay. Many of the women I coach feel the same way. Hell, I felt that same way. Just start by staying open and being observant. And it might be easier for you to think about the things that you don't want. Just go through your week and notice what drains you. Notice what excites you. And notice where joy shows up in your day. And don't let anyone else's expectations or opinions mess with that. That's it for today's very first episode of the Thrive with Intention show. If any part of this resonated with you, please share it with a friend that you know who's also walking through her own midlife shift. And remember, you don't have to go through this alone. We are all figuring it out together. All right, that's all I got, y'all. Go be fabulous. Make sure you take my free Shift Happens quiz to find out what you're really craving next in midlife. Or if you think you might be ready to dive into one-on-one coaching with me, book a free clarity call. You'll find both links right below the video.